Hi, and we're back.
We're back.
Good
We're back.
morning. Back to back to back. Lesson 282.
And
It
this one's an eye opener.
it is. Well, they're all pretty, if you delve into these, they're all pretty astounding.
Yeah.
You do the deep dive into these lessons. Yeah, today's lesson is I will not be afraid of love today. And before we even get into that, Sis and I really want to unpack this with you because I don't think any of us would admit or being consciously aware that we are afraid of love. We don't think that we're afraid of love.
Hmm. No, we don't. We think we want love.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, but do we?
That's what we're seeking in this dream. We're
Mhm.
seeking love.
Right.
Is
In all
that
the wrong
correct?
places.
In
Yeah.
all the wrong places. But we don't recognize love.
Yeah.
And that's why we're terrified of it.
Hmm. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So what is first of all, what is the world's definition of love, right? That would be exclusive, just with one other, or unless you're into polyamory, is that what they call it? Anyway,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
That's
So
not love.
it's
That's sex.
sorry.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so it's very exclusive and it's very body based and it has expectations. It can be manipulative. There's a lot of people pleasing involved in that. There's a lot of role playing in that kind of love. It's what Jesus refers to as the special relationship.
And
Okay.
can it change?
All the time on a dime.
No. You're kidding.
If you
It can,
piss me
what?
off, I will withdraw my love from you and I'm going to keep
No.
score.
If you don't do what my ego wants you to do, I'm
Off.
not going to love you anymore.
That's right.
So take that.
Yeah. Yeah. Fickle at its best. Okay, so what is real love then? Can we talk about that because that's what we're really learning through the course. What is this real love? And it's would be the antithesis of the special love, and it's what he points to in holy relationship. It's the love of God that shines forth changelessly, liberally, and perfectly upon all. So it's definitely inclusive, right? And for us to express that love, there has to be no mythical me because mythical me is a state of fear. So it's fearless, right? So,
Fearless love. Right. That's it,
yeah,
sis. Yeah.
fearless love. And so
Yeah.
that means the way
And
that,
change. Yeah.
yeah, it
Change.
wouldn't change. What about the way that that kind of love communicates? Well, the other love is very manipulative and speaks through wearing masks and doesn't want to be radically honest. It's always playing its best bet to get what it wants from somebody else. We know that real love, we've got something we refer to. You guys have heard this before, the seven keys, where love communicates defenselessly, honestly, use willing is willing to practice this honest communication, is
Mm.
transparent, right? It's radically self-honest. What are some of the others?
Well, I've got a little list here.
Okay.
Yeah. It's what, and this lesson 282, I will not be afraid of love today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at this.
Yeah.
What, yeah, well, accountability
Mm.
is an aspect of love,
Yeah.
being accountable for everything, realizing that it's all coming from us, right?
Right.
Nobody causes us.
Right.
We are caused, right? Everything comes from our mind. So that's that.
So there
And
goes blame and judgment, right?
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, forgiveness is an aspect of love. Of course, it's the closest to real love here
Mm-hmm.
in the dream, forgiveness. So I will not be afraid of forgiveness today. There's
Right.
another way of
Yes.
saying it. I will not be afraid to be accountable for
Mm-hmm.
everything that occurs to me today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's an aspect of love. I will not be afraid of deciding without Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Most of us are terrified through the ego of deciding. We make all our decisions with the ego, not with Holy Spirit. So I will not be afraid of deciding with Holy Spirit. I will not be afraid to transcend my self-interest today.
Yes.
So I won't be afraid of, of sharing, genuine sharing. I won't be afraid of demonstrating my emotional vulnerability today.
Mm-hmm.
How's
Yeah.
that feel?
Yeah. Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Hey. Okay. And I will not be afraid of radical self-honesty today. I will not be afraid of radical self-honesty. I will not be afraid of feeling and expressing genuine gratitude for everyone in my life today. I will not be afraid to have 100% faith and trust in only God today.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be afraid to extend inclusiveness
Mm-hmm.
instead of exclusiveness.
Right.
Right? They're just some of the ways of saying I will not be afraid of love today.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you said before, sis, my private thoughts are keeping me, my private thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
with the ego, are keeping me from the experience of love.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another one, what's that?
Yo, go ahead.
Yeah, is my need to be right. Not
Mm-hmm.
that any of you have that issue, but my need to be right is keeping me from the experience of love today.
Yeah.
And my need to be mythical me with my private thoughts, my separate body, and my secret agendas, right? All of that
Yes.
is keeping me from the experience of love today.
That's
I
right.
could keep going, probably got 200 more.
Well, and I think it's all of the mythical me, and it's interesting. He comes out in this whole section about what is the Holy Spirit. It's the bridge to our right mind. It brings us to the thoughts that we share with God, which are the proof of union. And then he says, you're only going to get hurt when you try to employ a private mind. When you're thinking thoughts independently, nothing's happening, and it always results in guilt, which turns to attack. It's like you can do this as long as you want in a dream of time, but you're only hurting yourself by this thought that you have a private mind and that you could have thoughts apart from God, right? And so now he's saying that I'm not going to be afraid of love. So every time we identify as mythical me by employing these private thoughts, that is our fear, our terror of this perfect love. Because when we remember that perfect love, we're going to remember union, and the story of the mythical me will dissolve. When we bring the fear or mythical me to the light, which is love and union, what we thought we were will dissolve in its presence. And this, remember that this is what we are. This is what we've always been. This was the mythical me is the illusion. So, mythical me is terrified of this love. And he says, I will not be afraid of love today. I will not identify as mythical me, because that's what's terrified of love. So mythical me, it's I know mine, it's I know what this is for, it's judgments, it's abilities, it's problem solving, it's guilt, it's relationships, all of it. The idea of mythical me is the fear that sits in the way of the truth dawning in our mind, right? Holy Spirit's calling, God's calling, and there's this fear sitting there, and it calls itself mythical me. So I'm not going to identify with mythical me. I'm choosing to think only those thoughts that I think with God, because I no longer fear love. I want love. I've experienced enough of love here with all of you in my holy relationships with the family online, that I know now that with certainty that there's nothing here that I want. I want true love, the real deal. I want to experience myself as that love. Okay.
Says, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. And so one more that we left out was the desire to think of ourselves as having been victimized.
Yeah.
That's the fear of love.
Right.
We'd much rather believe that we have been victimized than to believe that we are love.
I'd rather be a victim of some past abuse and let that define me and hold that around me as my story and look out the world from this filter of I've been abused and I don't trust my brothers and I'm going to have a cause against this abuse and it's going to be my lifelong mission. All of that story, that was just the same. It was a defense against the experience of the love that I am. So what's your story of victimization? We all have one, right? But like, just recognize that's only a defense. That's what we cling to instead of that impending love that's calling to us, right? Yeah.
It's what forgiveness will heal.
Yeah, I forgive this idea that I'm separate, I'm immortal, that could be abused. I forgive this whole storyline. I'm ready to drop it now. I'm turning to Holy Spirit. I want to be reminded of what I am, the beloved, holy child of God, right now in the mind of God, not mythical me.
Beautiful.
That's this unequivocal decision. I will not be afraid of love today. I welcome it. The deepest part of my soul, just yes to what we already are.
Thank you, sis. Maybe I should read the lesson, huh?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Did y'all want that?
If I could realize but this today, only this, salvation would be reached for all the world. Hey, that's a big statement.
Isn't it?
Okay, I will not be afraid of love today. If I could realize but this today, salvation would be reached for all the world. This, the decision not to be insane and to accept myself as God himself, my Father and my source, created me. This, the determination not to be asleep in dreams of death, while truth remains forever living in the joy of love. And
What?
What?
You have love? I have life.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No.
Okay, could you read your line for me? For us?
This, the determination not to be asleep in dreams of death, while truth remains forever living in the joy of life.
Are so, sis, you need, sorry, because I'm a little bit deaf. Spell that last word for us, please.
LIFE. Which makes sense because he's talking about while truth remains forever living in the joy of life. I mean, love's good too, but I felt that made more sense with the context. Sorry, guys, we've left the lesson. We're coming back. Anyway.
Wow, that's a big one. That's the big one because life. Okay, I prefer life because
we're talking about the dreams of death while truth remains forever living in the joy of life. Yeah.
Perhaps maybe the initial edits done on this to change it from a life to love was because the one that edited it, human, didn't understand the dream that the central dream of the ego is death, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. A bit too frightening. So put the joy of love instead of the joy of life.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It was a watering down attempt by an ego. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. No judgment. It's just a discernment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So next sentence says this, and this the choice to recognize the self whom God created as the son he loves and who remains my one identity.
We've got reality.
Oh, read me the sentence or read us the sentence, please.
And this the choice to recognize the self whom God created as the son he loves and who remains my one reality.
Hmm,
I think I like identity, either one.
yeah, yeah. I'm not getting a ping on that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then the last paragraph says, Father, your name is love, and so is mine. Such is the truth. And can the truth be changed by merely giving it another name? The name of fear is simply a mistake. The name of fear is simply a mistake. So it's not a sin.
Mm-mm.
Let me not be afraid of truth today.
Yeah.
So the lesson is I will not be afraid of love today. And the concluding sentence is let me not be afraid of truth today.
Yeah. Truth and love, they're inseparable.
Because, right, truth basically is the metaphysics,
Mm-hmm.
which are completely certain and uncompromising.
Mm-hmm.
And love is the experience.
That's it.
So we can't have one without the other.
No.
But the spiritual ego sure does try
Yeah.
to, to excel in the metaphysics,
Without the
not
love.
realizing the
Yeah.
resistance to the experience of love through holy relationship.
Yes, it wants to usurp the truth on its own behalf without going through the unselfing process that's required to experience love,
Mm.
which is union. I just like how this really wraps it up that while we are identified as mythical me, we believe that we are fear. And that identity is a total defense to the love that we are. We're really entertaining a concept of ourselves as an opposite of the truth to what we are. It really kind of just boils that down. And so when we're not afraid of love, mythical me will go. That's that transfer of trust from fear to love, from what we're not to what we are, from death to life. Thanks, sis.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a bit choppy, but I trust that you guys stayed with us.
Is anybody left in the room? uh,
Yeah, there you go. Lesson 282.
yeah.
All right. We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.
Family, thank you, sis.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, guys.